Hello and welcome to another edition of See You Next Time with myself, Ed1, and with me today is Old Father Time's granddad, the only man whose age when written down is longer than his phone number. It is, of course, our special man, Bill, Ed25, and also meant to be with us, but is waiting to make a grand entrance as usual, is the inspiration for Brokeback Mountain. It is Ed68, Seamus O'Deep's the luck ender himself. How are you, Bill? I'd ask
I'm
Seamus,
good,
but
thanks,
obviously we don't know
Trish.
where he
Yeah,
is.
now he'll pop along. Don't worry about that.
I know.
I'm good, thanks.
He said his electricity had gone off in case anybody's actually cares, but no, I don't think anybody does, to be honest. Judging by the comments we get about him, you know. Yeah, he said so. His electricity was off, and then he said it was back, and then like he just vanishes. It's strange. The cat is living in the castle. I bet it's the problem. Probably getting near the Wi-Fi. You know, getting near enough to Wi-Fi. You
Yeah, it
know.
is, yeah.
How many range extenders would you need in their house?
Loads.
Anyway, sorry, we'll get back to the football. I'm sure nobody's interested in Seamus's castle. So today we're going to talk about the mighty Toffees. Mighty is obviously I'm using loosely, and their big signing of Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. The fans called for a big name, and boy, have the new owners delivered. Hey, Bill, happy?
It is a long name, I must admit.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
wouldn't like
said,
to pay for it on the back of my shirt.
yeah. Do they still charge you by the letter? Christ, I would. Oh, I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
think they
appeared.
do.
I think he's
All
appeared.
right.
Here he is, making his big entrance. Brokeback
Yeah,
Mountain
here he
himself.
is now.
He's here. Ah, we can start now.
Yeah, go on then, mate.
Right. Well, we'd already
Yeah,
started. Yeah, we've introduced it and
right.
everything, Seamus. Sorry.
Kieran Dewsbury Hall. I think he'll be a decent signing for Everton. Don't get me wrong, I
Mm.
don't think he's absolute top quality, but in the world that we're playing in Everton at the
Yeah.
moment, I think he's a good signing for us.
Oh,
I was really impressed with him when he played for Leicester. I thought he was one of their star men. Then he went off to Chelsea as just another name. Never really got a chance, and I think he was disappointed with his time at Chelsea. I think he would be anyway, because he wasn't really given the chance. It was just another name, another number, another set of figures for the Chelsea hierarchy to play with. And I don't think he got the rub of the green there, but someone will say he wasn't good enough. But for me, I think he's a half decent player.
yeah. Well, I think he was signed more to be Maresca's man in the dressing room than he was to be a player for them. You see what I
Yeah.
mean? More to be an
And
ally.
he's got a
So we
lot of
had someone.
competition there.
Yeah. Oh, there's just too many players. There was no chance he was ever going to get it. It was a very strange signing. They sold Conor Gallagher, who was basically Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, but slightly better, and then brought
Yeah.
and obviously a Chelsea, a Chelsea fan who was desperate to play for them, and they sell it so he's going to play a little bit better because you do when you're playing for the team you love. Obviously, that gives you that little bit more incentive. So he played his heart out there. So they sold him, and then they brought in Keenan Dewsbury-Hall to replace him, and it's just like it just seemed a strange, pointless signing. They didn't need to replace
Yeah.
Gallagher because they'd already had 400 midfielders. I mean, it was just an odd
Oh,
one.
yeah.
The poor lad had no chance, and I'm with
I
you on
can't
that.
understand any player, a young player who's trying to
Mm.
make his way in there, going to Chelsea.
No,
Obviously,
no.
there's the money and the agents, but
Mm.
the amount of players that you ship in and out is just ridiculous at
Mhm.
times. It really is. And so, if I would advise anyone not to go there until things are in a better way, because it's just a cattle market. It, players in, players out, and that's all it is. It's a money making scheme, I think. But I think Dewsbury could be a good signing for Everton. He's still young. He's a pretty player. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of skill, and that's the sort of player that we're looking for. A young, up and coming young lad. That's why
How old is
even
he?
Dibbling would have been a decent signing for us.
26.
Not Seamus?
He's 26.
26.
Yeah. I wouldn't call him an up and coming player.
No, never
Sorry, I did,
26.
but
don't think his game started yet. I don't think his career started really. He started getting there with Leicester, but when he went to Chelsea, he never really got a go. Never really got the time to express himself.
Yeah, well, my point was the reason why I was asking his age is because I was thinking, is he young and up and coming compared to you, or young and up and coming for a footballer? And
Compared to
clearly, it's
me.
young and up and coming compared to Billy. So we've answered that question.
Absolutely.
He's 455 years old, but Billy still calls him that young lad. Yeah. I bet
But
you
I
still
think he'll
refer
do
to
it. Yeah,
Pele
well,
as a youngster, don't you?
but that's what the supporters have been crying out for at Everton, to get some young, not just English, but young players in who can trying to make their name, and we can help them and develop them, and that's what we're looking for. We don't want all these players that are over the hill and looking for a last payday, which is what we signed under
Grealish?
Bashiri. Grealish, to be honest with you, I think Grealish should be a good signing for Everton, only for the simple reason he'll bring the crowd in. He'll play a lot, and he's got a lot to prove. It's a World Cup year, and for the qualifiers, and I think he'll want to come. I'd hope he'd want to come.
It's not just a hairband thing then, because you're just trying to sign players that wear hairbands. Grealish,
No.
Dibbling, players like him. What do you think, Seamus?
Well, go on, Seamus.
Grealish might just increase the beer sales in the new stadium. Maybe that is one way for you to recoup some money for the brand new stadium, Bramley-Moore.
Like, what
But
are
you
you
don't
trying
think
to
he'd be?
suggest that they're not going to be sold out anyway to see Everton?
He
Seamus,
should do.
wash your mouth out with soap. This is Everton we're talking
No,
about.
I'm saying they're gonna sell out the beers, the beverages, alcoholic beverages.
Oh
If you
yes,
were Everton, would you
yeah.
sign
That's true.
Grealish?
After the match, he'll be.
No, no, Billy.
Seamus,
If I
would
was
you
in
sign
charge
him?
of
No.
Everton, no. I don't want someone who's gonna be a bad influence for the young players.
I
Mm.
don't think he's going to be a permanent, I think he's only going to come on loan. I don't think he's going to be a permanent. And I think he can do a job on loan. I think he'll be up for it. I think he'll be trying to get back in the England squad. And I think he's got a point to prove to Pep, who seems to have fell out of favour with him. And I think he could do a good job for
He's
Everton.
just been drinking too much. He's just never gotten out of that celebration phase since winning the treble.
Yeah, he still has to
That's
stop
all
celebrating it,
speculation.
hasn't he?
Yeah, it's really sad because outside of the drinking, he seems to be a nice person actually.
Nice
Yeah,
Tries
with
to
yeah.
him.
do tries to
Tim.
do things with charity, always available to the kids to talk with, like even very responsive to the fans and not too arrogant towards them. But he seems to have a demon that is not suitable for a good career towards the back end, and he's getting there. Really.
Yeah. And what do you think of Dewsbury-Hall? What do you think of him as a signing for Everton, Seamus?
Uh, as as a replacement for someone like a Decore, someone who you've lost from your midfield is a decent option. He's homegrown, versatile. Why he was wasn't he one of the leaders at Leicester as well? So brings
Yeah.
that factor into the squad as well.
And what do you think
And
about
you did the
the
hard
fee?
work.
What do you think about the fee?
Fee?
28 million, rising to 28, 25, rising to 28.
And slightly higher, but I guess he had quite a few years left on his deal at Chelsea, so you're paying that, and then the homegrown factor and everything. So
Didn't they pay 30 odd though?
yeah, I was
Really?
just saying that like the numbers are in euros, but it's 35 point something from Chelsea, and then it's a 28 million euro deal for Everton. So I think Chelsea are just trying to write off whatever they had on their accounts remaining after the amortization. So maybe
And what
that
do you
is how
think of
they
him,
want.
Tris? What's your view of Dewsbury-Hall as a player?
I quite like, if it depends on what you're looking at him for. This is one thing you've got to
Right.
put into context. Is first off, if I was looking at him in terms of would I want him at Liverpool? Not a chance. Nowhere near good enough. But mid-table Premier League, yeah, I think he's a good player for mid-table Premier League. You know what I mean? He'll work hard. He's decent on the ball. He's intelligent. He's one of those that he doesn't cause trouble. He's a good leader. He seems like a decent lad. Hard to tell. I haven't heard a lot about, but I've never heard any bad things about him, which is usually a good sign because you normally hear the bad things rather than the good things when you're about players. Not heard anything bad about him. He's very well liked at Leicester. And even when he left, he left on a good terms. Things like that suggest he's like a decent lad. So as a player, he's okay. He's not. If you're in the European Champions League, he's not the kind of player you're going to look at on the opposition and go, "Ah, shit, they've got Dewsbury-Hall." But he does a job. You know what I mean? And compared to who you've lost, he's a massive upgrade, is what I would say, and that's what you need to be looking at doing. I mean, compared to Decore, he's a much better player. He can do everything Decore did, but he'll be better at it. You know what I mean? The only thing he's not as good at is the late burst into the box, to get onto the end of things. Decore's one good feature was his ability to get on the end of balls into the box and put them in the back of the net. Usually all can do that, but he's not as good as Decore at it. But everything else, he's a much better link player. He's much better on the ball. He's got better touch.
Decore gave the ball away far too much, though, Tris.
Yeah, he used to try.
He lost possession and sold us down the river loads of times.
I really didn't like him as a player, to be honest. Not in that role.
No, I wasn't a big fan. He scored a few really good goals for his important goals, but his overall game, especially in the last season and a half, was really poor. And he was a liability, to be honest with you. And I like the guy. I think he's a nice guy and all that, but he just wasn't cut out for the Everton that's hopefully going forward.
Yeah, and I would think with Dewsbury-Hall as well, he won't be on a particularly high wage. He'll be on a much lower wage, I would expect, than Decore.
Yeah.
So I really can't see any downside to it from an Everton point of view. I think, he's like, you were struggling against relegation. He's the kind of player that will take you up to the next step, put you in safe mid-table position that you can build on.
Yeah.
And when I say safe mid, I don't mean that that's all he can ever be. Because if you surround him with the right players, any player can, there's 10 great players around a good player. They can, there's enough about them. He's good enough. He works hard enough that if you surround him with a great player, build around him. Whereas you couldn't do that with Decore and who was the other guy you lost? I can't remember who I'm thinking of now.
Oh, we lost a few.
Yeah, you couldn't do that with him. Whereas Dewsbury-Hall, he's good enough that, like, as you move up, he can still play a part because he can do the grafting role. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just need a player who does the hard work. Sometimes they don't have to be a great player. Sammy Lee did it for years at Liverpool. He wasn't a great player, but most of the fans thought he wasn't good enough to be in the team and hated him. You know what I mean? He was always the one that got the stick. But he was part of a great team because he did the hard work so that they didn't, so the great players like Doug Lee.
I'd say Ronnie Whelan as well there. Ronnie Whelan was one of them players, unsung hero, and I thought he was a marvellous player, Ronnie Whelan. But that's the type of player I'm looking for in Dewsbury-Hall.
Yeah.
Someone who's not a big name, someone who's not going to win your championship, but will work hard and take the team forward if he can, when he gets players around him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he's not someone if like Man United as well as another club that he would have been okay for, he would have been fine for because but that's because they're so lacking in midfield. I think you'd be hard pressed to find many players that wouldn't improve on their midfield setup at the moment because they've got, Casemiro's can barely run and they're looking at. They just don't have a good balance in there, United. So they need someone that can just provide a bit of running and leg work, other than Ugarte. Yeah.
Who else would you think we'd need, Tris?
Well, you've got
a
you're in,
player who you think Everton should sign?
well,
Type of player.
you're in for Diblin and Grealish. Obviously, you're in for both of those. But I got to be honest.
Yeah.
I can see you need a type of player like that, but I'm not sure either of those are the answer. Because I think that you've already got Njai, and I think you need someone to play on the opposite flank. And are you going to move? He was your best player. He's been really good, and I think for me, he's raw. He's still coming up from, he spent a lot of time in non-league football. He's still learning how to play professional football, so to speak. And I think you want to leave him where he's best, where he's comfortable, and just let him develop. You need to treat him like he's 20, like he's 21, 22. Let him play.
He's a predominantly left-sided player.
Exactly.
And we've got no one on the right.
So yeah,
we need a
Grealish is
right
left-sided. Grealish is
I know he is,
left-sided.
and we've got
Diblin at his
loads of
best
them.
is left-sided as well. I don't understand why you're looking at those two. That's what I'm saying. What you need is someone for the other side.
Ndiaye might play in the middle. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, we do need a right-sided winger and a right-sided fullback. But we're, there's still time in the window, but it is a bit getting on a bit now.
The way it's going, you'll be lacing on your boots, aren't you?
Yeah, I do a good job, actually. And I'm right-footed. That'd be all right there.
Oh, there you go then. Seamus, what-footed are you?
I am right-footed, but I play left foot when I enter the ball pitch.
Well, you'll be all right. Right-footed, that'll do. You play on the right wing.
Get your boots.
You're Everton's new right wing.
Sort your blue shirt out.
He's wearing.
I already have a blue shirt today.
Who are we endorsing today? Who's the endorsement today, by the way? Sorry, sorry to the advertiser. We haven't met. What?
There's nothing.
Anybody
interested? Feel free to contact.
You had Ralph Lauren round your house earlier when you thought Bobby was going to be on the pod as well. Now he's not on. We don't, obviously we're not good enough to deserve designer goods, eh, Bill?
Yeah, looks that way, Trish.
He only gets to design a clobber out for his, beddies,
Do you think Bramley-Moore is going to be a success for Everton? They spent a lot of money. They still owe a lot of money for the stadium build. But I'm hoping that it's going to be a catalyst to bring the club forward. I think the owners are decent. I'm not saying they're great. I think they're decent. I think they know what they're doing. And very much like FSG, maybe not as good because they've got the wherewithal to be
TFG,
massive.
FSG.
Yeah, they have got
the same, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to going to the new stadium, to be honest with you. And it looks fantastic. I think there's still going to be teething problems, and because the infrastructure around there isn't great. The parking is a problem. The train stations are a problem.
Yeah.
But the things that can be ironed out, hopefully, and I think it's going to really give the club a lift. My only thing is that when Arsenal moved to their new stadium, when Tottenham moved to their new stadium, he struggled for at least a season to get, to get used to the stadium. You wouldn't think it'd make a lot of difference, but it did with an Arsenal and it did with Spurs.
And West Ham.
Yeah.
Can I ask, Bill, did you go to the club shop opening? The Everton club shop?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't think so.
Mate,
I'd seen you on the pictures because it wasn't like there was a lot. What was it? 47 people turned up and they were expecting thousands. I mean, that has to be, if you're Everton, that has to be a worry. All joking aside, because when you've got a big event like that and you've got it all planned out, you've put out all the notices to all the fans and all that. You've gone through all the setup, you put out all the barricades and expecting huge amounts of people, and like, was it? I think it was something ridiculous, like 47 people turned up in total, wasn't it? It was
I'm
something
not sure. I wasn't
ludicrous.
sure, and I knew it was opening, but I didn't know. I didn't follow the story of how many went.
Oh,
But
I sent the pictures because it's got obviously all the Liverpool fans are loving the pictures.
but
Yeah,
we started the stadium tours now,
yeah.
and the new stadium tours,
Yeah,
and
but,
that'll be a bit, should be good. I'll probably go on that this season to
but what I
the
mean is,
tour.
if you're talking about will the ground be a success, if you're not getting people turning up for the for something
Mm,
like the big club shop opening and stuff like that, that suggests there's a problem with the stage. You know what I mean? It's not going to put them off because lack of money or whatever. Because fans will always find the money. I would suggest the problem is they've looked at it and gone the infrastructure. It's horrible getting there. So that might cost you during the smaller games, you know what I mean? Like the games that aren't like when you're playing Liverpool, you'll feel it. When you're playing Man United, you'll feel it. When you're playing Arsenal, you'll feel it. Things like that. But when you're playing Burnley, you might end up with half the crowd you could have got because of where it is. And people going, yeah, can't be bothered because it's only Burnley, and look, and it's so much hassle getting in
to
and
be
out.
fair,
That's
I
what
think the
I'm wondering.
crowd will be sold out every week. I
First season,
honestly
you'd expect
expect
so.
that. The novelty of actually going to
Mm,
the game, being able to get
yeah,
a ticket to see Bramley-Moore for the first time, people, not only Everton supporters, but people of the away supporters, even if it is Burnley, Sunderland, or whoever, it's a bit of a draw, I think, to go there for the first time, any
mm,
stadium, to
true.
go there and see. And it looks set up really good. The food looks fantastic. The hospitality looks really good. With a bit expensive at the top end, at the corporates, but
Where you'll be.
people will want to go and spend £60 on a ticket, £50 on a ticket, whatever it's going to be. And I think people will do it for the novelty first, for the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
season.
that's true.
Whether it carries on is another thing. It depends on
Mm.
what happens on the pitch. But I think it's going to be a success. I hope it's a success for them.
I was going to say at least they'll be able to see, which was one of the problems with Woodison, is that obviously, three quarters
The
of the ground can't
stanchions.
see any of the map because you've got fucking pillars in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I speak from experience, having gone along a few times to, support friends playing for you. Like, you can't see the bloody game. You're like, oh, what's this? If you get late
Yeah.
tickets, and the other thing that I mean, do you remember some of the photographs that were coming out of the ground with the seating was a messed up? Have they fixed all that now? Do you remember there
I
was like
think
that
it has.
seating out and like it was just what was some of the stuff that was obviously the planning and not matched up with the expectation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they've only
Yeah.
just finished, but by all accounts, what I've read, it's going to be all right on the night, shall we say? We're playing Roma shortly in the first full capacity,
Mhm.
and hopefully that'll be a great test. But there is concerns over the infrastructure,
A minute.
the park. The parking looks really poor,
Oh,
and the railway stations are not big enough to accommodate, a lot of people.
yeah, and especially now you've got. Oh, he's moved to the other side. No, he's moved back. It's weird. It was cropping you over then when you came back. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was going to say. I got so confused, got
Oh,
flustered
sorry,
then.
I'm sorry.
The picture
My
moving, it's like,
apologies.
what's going on? Sorry, I was going to ask Seamus something then as well.
Would you like to go
So
to
if you
BMD?
just forgot that, I would just like to say Billy hit it right on the head. At first, people would like to just
yeah,
get to the ground, experience,
Yeah,
and all that. And after that, how Everton do this season on the pitch is going to be vital for the future.
yeah, I
If
think
the
so.
issues you guys have highlighted don't get resolved, let's say if Everton are battling for European places, will the fans want to miss it despite the troubles of getting the parking or whatever? No. because
Yeah, you're
it's a new
right.
experience. But if you're again in and around the
Will
Friday
you be
13th,
flying over at all, Seamus? Will you be flying over to BMD with your blue shirt on? No.
no. The realistic chances are very, very low. But I will say the fact that UK is recognizing Palestine as a nation means the chances of me getting through the immigration have improved. So fingers crossed. If you'd asked me before that, hell no, I am not setting foot on any country that is pro-Israel. They're gonna fucking mess me up.
Oh, yeah.
One look at my Instagram and then Chris and I will both finish.
Have you ever been to Old Trafford in your life? Now, have you been to
No,
England? No.
no, it's
You
hella
need to go, you
expensive.
know.
Give me the money.
Yeah, you've got plenty of money,
Yeah, you spent all that time in China with at college. You must have some. That must have cost some money. What's it like?
No, it was
Is it
free. I was getting paid. I was getting paid there
really?
to sleep. Yeah. Sleep
Really?
during the day and play FIFA during the night.
Is that serious? That's true. You got paid to go there.
Yeah.
To go to college in
The
China.
first travel ticket was paid for. My tuition was paid for. I used to get
Wow.
the scholarship money
Because they've got
every month,
fantastic schools
but
out there.
deposited every 3 months. It was quite decent. I was just a lazy ass, but yeah.
Yeah, the schools are I didn't say the
That is
students were any
right.
good.
That is right, Chris. I don't. That is right, Chris. I have very, very rarely criticized China because they've been very nice to me and my experience has been wonderful.
Yeah,
Can you speak any
yeah.
Chinese?
Oh, I was half decent,
All
but
right, good.
with time, yeah. Well, I actually have a certificate to prove my Chinese language proficiency.
Wow, so
All
he
right,
did get a
good
certificate
stuff.
while he was out there. Because he
Oh,
didn't get any
yeah.
Yeah.
from his actual freaking courses.
No, I left midway through. You guys know why, but yeah.
How are you going to make up excuses about COVID now? We all know you deliberately spread that so you could get out of there before you had to do any work. Somebody said,
Yeah, I
time to
was the
start
first.
work
Yeah,
now.
I was the
Bloody hell, let's,
yeah.
no, let's
Huh?
put a stop to that. We're not having none of that
Or
work
maybe,
thing.
or
Right.
maybe could it be that they let the virus outside the lab only to get rid of me?
I could believe it. I would actually very much believe that because if I was them,
So,
I would have done that.
if we can digress, David
I'm talk
Moyes is
football.
asking for another 5 players. Do you think Everton will
Ooh.
get 5 players in?
2 loans, 3 permanents. I can see it. Yeah, I can see that.
Do you
Yeah.
think, though, when it's got to this stage now, do you think some of them are going to be a little bit of a panic buy?
Yeah, I'm
Um.
pretty sure if you get 5 players in, one or two would be like late deals,
mm,
panic buys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I yeah. Even Grealish is someone who stinks of a panic signing because you
I think
wouldn't
the only way
really.
Grealish happens is the last day of the window, and City look at their options and say, the only way we can save money, no one's going to buy him. No one's going to pay the
Mm,
money and pay his wages. Is to go to Everton and we'll pay half the loan, after his
yeah.
wages. I think that's the only way that deal can happen myself.
And I think that's the same where anywhere he goes. I don't see that there's a club out
Yeah,
there that would look at him and go, he's worth paying a huge sum of money to, because he just hasn't
yeah.
performed for years. The moment he
Like
touched down
it's a
at
last
City,
day.
he's been awful. He has been awful. He hasn't. Is there been a single time when you've watched City play and you thought, oh, he's had a good game there? He's not
No,
He's
not.
not contributed meaningfully to anything they've won since he joined, and yet he's celebrated them certainly well enough. But that's about all he's contributed. Is a lot of celebration.
But also,
My
Chris,
type of guy.
City, but also City don't play in a way to enhance or
True.
exemplify his game. It's built around showing the deficiencies in his game, the way
True.
City
Yeah.
set up. So
Yeah, that's a fair point.
you could, yeah, you could also go in for a late bid for Sancho, Anthony,
Yeah.
Garnacho,
Think again. Think
Malacia.
again, Seamus. Think again.
You won't get Harry Maguire though. He's about to sign a new deal, extended stay.
Apparently, we got some interest for him. So
Yeah, you've knocked back what 5 bids, they reckon. I bet that was
like, wasn't it just like
Seamus.
3 months ago? Wasn't it just 3 months ago? Ruben Amorim was saying he is a great guy to have around, but in not as clear cut words, saying I'm stuck with him. What can I do? when he had his 1 year extension triggered, like
Yeah.
he's all I've got in defense that can stitch up 3 games back to back. So
Yeah, but sometimes you just think you've got to clean out before you can bring in better. Otherwise,
Yeah.
the more you keep extending him, the more you stuck. It just makes no sense. The more difficult it is to get rid. Just let him go.
no, like I know some of the posters on the page have also pointed this out, but as United have gotten gradually worse, Maguire has looked gradually better. So yeah, is he looking better or is the level dropping?
Levels dropping.
Think the level's dropping.
I mean, it's not like Seamus Coleman where you extend him and you keep him because long term you can see him having a future at the club as a coach. On the coaching staff and joining the
Yeah.
back room there. I can see he's clearly legs have gone and he's not much use anymore on the pitch. But off the pitch he's great. But I just don't see it with Maguire. I just don't see what the point is and keep extending him. You're paying him a big salary to play to barely play, and when he does play, he's not often much more than a liability. It just makes no sense. You're better off just having a kid out the youth team on the pitch than wasting a spot
But-
on Maguire, in my opinion.
But is he any worse than Martinez or Delight? I don't think he is. I'm not at his biggest fan. Don't get me wrong. But is he any worse than the other centre halves they've got? I don't think he is. I think all of them are pretty poor.
Martinez gets injured far too often for far too
Yeah.
long, and Delict is what I call him even before we signed him. That's Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
He has his certain qualities. Passionate, can put his body on the line and everything, but if you're having to put your body on the line so often, then maybe, mate, this is not for you.
Are
Right.
you happy,
Anyway,
Seamus,
mate,
about?
we're running out of time.
Are you
Bill.
happy about United?
We're out of time, Bill.
Sign. So we out of time. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
mate.
have to call it. We'll have to say
No, you can ask Billy, come on.
See you next time, everyone. Thank you.
Okay.
Catch off.
Thanks, boys.